Hello and welcome in my new video. This video is going to be about conformity. And also, if you're new here and you enjoy topics from self-help, psychology and personal development, you can subscribe to my channel. I post regular videos once a week. Also, if you have any requests for my future video, I will be really grateful if you write me in the comments and I will look at that and try to think about if I would be able to answer your request and make a video about it. So I would now like to start with my topic. My topic is about conformity. I got inspired for this topic at a seminar in which I went to, because this seminar was about it was about social dynamics and dynamics in a group and how people behave in a group. And it was really interesting for me to see some kind of dynamics in there, and it got me thinking a lot about conformity and how people conform in social situations, because I feel like this is not a topic to which is attributed a lot of attention, but I got to think about it a lot because we had kind of these activities there, and many times throughout this seminar I was thinking to myself whether or not I should be conformist and do what was being asked, because we were doing some activities which the organizers planned for us, and I was debating whether or not I should participate exactly as they wanted, or I should kind of have my own approach. And at first I was really conformist and doing what was asked for me, but then there was one activity in which I was okay, now I quit, because I don't wanna be conformist anymore. I just wanna try to be myself. And so I kind of did what was unexpected, and I kind of stand by myself, and I did something differently than how it was asked for me. And I kind of felt, as I was doing it, it was a really strange situation for me, because I felt like I'm being threatened in a way, as if I was doing something wrong on one hand, but on the other hand I felt like this splash of freedom that kind of went over my body, and I felt like I'm being myself, truly myself, no matter what the consequences are gonna be. Of course the consequences were none, because it was a seminar, but it got me really thinking about conformity and why do people do that. And usually what I think why people do that is because when you conform, it's you can be chill and relaxed, because you don't really put yourself on the spot. Usually conformity can have many forms. It can have forms where you are in some kind of discussion with other people and you don't even express your opinion even though you want to, or you are in a discussion with other people and you do express your opinion, but you kind of dial it down a little bit. Maybe you have a stronger opinion, but you see that the people in the debate in which you would engage, they don't have such a strong opinion, and so you don't want to look and seem strange to them, and so you kind of dial down your opinion a little bit, and you kind of bend yourself from one side to another, and you kind of conform to whatever situation you are in. And before you know it, you maybe do this a lot more than you actually think, because I think this whole process, it really starts in school and in social systems, wherever you are, because you just don't want to get yourself into trouble, and so you just conform to whatever is being asked of you, and then slowly but surely you kind of get used to that, being conformist in school, then you be conformist in work. You want to do what's best and what's being asked of you. You don't want to stand out. You don't want to be the weird one out. And you just do what you think is gonna please other people, and what's not gonna get you into trouble. And I think most people do this and they don't even think about it too much, because what's there to think about? It's you have maybe a lot of other problems which are more painful to you, and so you don't even put your attention on this. But I feel like it's really a pity, because this actually can manifest really badly in your mental health in the long term, because this is something where you kind of suppress your true personality and your true opinions and your true freedom of expression, and you suppress that to conform to other people. and then you spend maybe a lot of time of your life just bending yourself over and over and over again just to belong to some group in which, if you were really true in your expression, you wouldn't even belong in this group. And maybe you don't even feel good in like bending yourself again and again and again, but you kind of do that because, as I said, it can seem really dangerous and really stressful if you would be the person who would be standing against the crowd. But as I was at the seminar, it was like this activity, and I decided that I would do it my own way, and despite what other people would do, I did it my own way, and I was the person who was weird and who was kind of standing out. And I felt really threatened, but I felt also like really a splash of freedom went over my body, and I felt like this is amazing, like I want to feel like this like more and more, and I don't want to conform so much anymore, because it's like when you decide that you're going to do something differently, even if it's like a little thing, it can be even really a little thing, it doesn't really matter. Because if you decide to do something differently, it's like you have to think about it. And that's the reason maybe why a lot of people don't want to do that. They would have to think about it. They would have to admit to themselves that they are being different in some way and sort of take a responsibility for that. But when you really do decide, and when you know why you are standing aside of other people, it's gonna bring you a real freedom and real freedom of expression. And suddenly you will look at the herd, sort of the people who are in the herd, and you will look at them and you will know that some of them are being really unhappy in there, and you will look at them from the outsider's perspective, and suddenly you will see that there's no point in being in the herd if you don't feel good in there. Because suddenly you will realize that since you are the odd one out, it's not like you are in the spotlight. It's like at the moment where you are putting yourself out of the group, people are looking at you like naturally. But if you manage to survive this, and if you stand there for a little bit, you will realize that they don't pay attention to you anymore. Maybe they don't even care as much as you originally thought. And now you can really express yourself freely, and you do what's genuine for you and authentic for you. And you don't have to pretend anything. And you're just being true to your natural, truthful self. And so I guess today my video is gonna be shorter, because really I would like to tell you, if you know that sometimes you are just you just bend yourself in order to conform to some group, whether in school or in work or with some of your opinions, I would really tell you, try to pick some little thing which you don't care about as much, and start with some little thing and really try to do it your own way, just once, just for the sake of knowing what it's like to be outside of the group. Or I experienced, like, when I was in a group, it was a different situation, and I was kind of like talking about some problem, and people just disagreed with me, and all of them, and it was also like unpleasant. But I felt like when I'm being conformist, even though I don't want to, I feel this pressure in myself. But when I finally say what I truly think, I feel like I become free. And this is not something that you're gonna do once. This is something that it's gonna be necessary to do repeatedly in different situations, because sometimes maybe it's easy to stand out when it's a group of people which you know really well, but sometimes it can be really hard to stand out when it should really threaten you in some way. And also, I would like to say one thing, that usually people think that if somebody is like making it a point where he's like really standing out all the time no matter what, sometimes I feel like these people, they also created some bugs for them, and now they are the ones who are not conformists, and they put themselves in some bugs, while maybe these people, when they're deliberately putting themselves out of the crowd, maybe they have some characteristics which are same as the crowd's characteristics, and they just don't want to belong to the crowd. And this is actually also really inauthentic and not really genuine of these people, because they are also living more for the other people than for themselves. They also doing something so that other people look at them certain way. They don't want to be seen as the ones who are in the crowd. They position themselves as somebody who's always outside of the crowd no matter what happens. This is also not a good situation, because maybe if these people were authentic, they would realize that there are indeed some situations in which they have the same opinion as the crowd. And so really try to think about it when you are being authentic in yourself, whether it's putting you in the crowd or outside the crowd, and where you are being inauthentic in yourself. Because there are people who can seem like they are being authentic since they are always the ones who are standing outside, but maybe their reasons for that are very different than what you would expect. And so people can be kind of fake and wearing masks in many different ways, and somebody just maybe wants to appear like they're interesting, and so they put themselves out of the crowd, like no matter what is the cost or whatever. And so really conformity can have like many forms, and my message of my video is that I'm not telling you that you should put yourself out of the crowd no matter what is your opinion. If your opinion is same as the crowd or group's opinion, that's cool. If you are being authentic in yourself, that's really cool. But if you feel like you are being part of some group and part of some opinion which doesn't resonate with you, then try to at least once in your life, try to be the one who stands out. Try to be the odd one that stands out, and really try to feel it, what it feels like. Because it can be really liberating for you. Because conformity can bring you this feeling of heaviness inside of you, and maybe you have this heaviness on yourself and you don't even know where you got it. And this might be a possible reason why you maybe sometimes feel really heavy, because you don't express yourself naturally. Because the joy of expressing yourself really authentically can be so huge that if you deliberately like take this joy from yourself and you live without it, it can have really impact on your life. And so this is everything for my video. If you have any questions about this topic, I will be really happy if you write me in the comments. And if you like this video, you can give it a like, and I will see you next week with my next video. Bye.